Number 14. This is Josie Garrido, who says, who are the spirits in prison Jesus preached to in 1 Peter 3:19? Oh, that's so easy, man. 1 Peter 3:19. By whom he also went and preached to the spirits who were in prison. What happens in 1 Peter 3:19 is Jesus is doing something after his death, right? Christ also suffered once for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but made alive by the Spirit, by whom also he went and preached to the spirits in prison. Who are they? After his death, at some point after his death, Jesus preached to spirits in prison. Spirits, meaning they're not just physical bodies. This could refer to angelic beings, some sort of disembodied person, or any kind of spiritual being. It could be any of the above. A person without a body could also be called a spirit, right? If they're dead. Who formerly were disobedient. Verse 20 gives us more details. They were formerly disobedient when once the divine long-suffering waited in the days of Noah while the ark was being prepared. Okay, then he goes on and talks about other issues. But, and then he says that Jesus has now gone into heaven and is at the right hand of God. The implication is that this preaching happened after his death, before his ascension. That's the idea. So who was disobedient in the days of Noah? Well, that's where it gets a little complicated. So when you get into Genesis 6:1, it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for indeed he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants. Nephilim is the word. Interesting. And it doesn't mean 60 foot tall giants. It's not a fantasy novel. If you ever met a Samoan, you've met a giant. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And so God's going to destroy mankind. So here's the question. Who is being disobedient in the days of Noah? And the answers are either, well, it's these sons of God. Who are they? Are they some sort of angelic being, right? Somehow having daughters, having children with human females? By maybe they possess a man, and then they go into the woman and have a kid, and then the kids are somehow powerful and maybe even problematic, depending on what's meant by this phrase "men of renown" and "mighty men." Those are interesting phrases. So is it the son of, or is it their kids? Is it the children born to them who are these Nephilim? Are they the ones that were disobedient? Maybe. But the text also says that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and so mankind is disobedient in the days of Noah. So there's a debate. Like, is it the sons of God? Is it the Nephilim? Whatever those are, another discussion. Or is it is it mankind? And I've tended towards the view that it's talking something more about the. I think in the past I've tended towards the view that it's more leaning towards like the sons of God or the Nephilim. But currently my thought is this, and even this is a little different than what I've shared in my First Peter study, just because I grow and learn, that we may be trying to decide between three options that aren't mutually exclusive. The idea is there was a lot of rebellion going on in the days of Noah. Jesus, after his death, he preached, he showed himself to be the victor and to be the savior and to be who he was to those who had died in the flood, those who were rebellious. He's basically parading himself as victor over those who were in rebellion against him. And so it could be all of the above. It may be that it's all of the above. And however you define Nephilim and sons of God, whether that's a godly line of Seth or angelic beings, it could just be that it's all of the above. All right,